Have you ever wondered, does the pain of the past saturate the heart, or does it pave the way for love and hope? In episode 18, let's explore that journey with Diep. Diep sat quietly by the stove, her mind heavy with thought. The words Tuan had spoken the day before kept echoing in her ears. The truth, that the woman who had cared for her since childhood wasn't her biological mother, stabbed at her heart like a knife. Holding a bowl of hot water, her eyes misty with sorrow, she thought of her orphaned years, of those days spent wandering the fields with her mother, only to return to the old, worn-out house. Yet in the chill of that early morning, Diep suddenly realized something. Her mum might not have given birth to her, but she had raised her and loved her as if she were her own flesh and blood. Her heart fluttered as tears mingled with the warm steam rising from the bowl. "You are my ma, no matter what happens," Diep whispered to herself, struggling to remain calm and taking a deep breath to stifle her pain. She stood up, determined to do something to help her mum overcome the hardships. At that moment, James appeared, carrying a bag of food and several new vegetable seedlings. With a gentle smile, he stepped into the small house. "Diep, are you feeling okay?" he asked warmly. Diep nodded, trying to muster a smile, though her reddened eyes betrayed her sadness. James sat down beside her and lightly touched her shoulder. "If anything's bothering you, just tell me. I'll always be here." After a moment of silence, Diep softly said, "I've thought a lot about what happened yesterday. I'm not angry with Tuan anymore. Mum has cared for me like her own child, so I won't abandon her, no matter what the truth is." James looked at her with admiration. "You're stronger than I thought. I knew you'd get through this." James then invited Diep to join him outside to care for the poultry. Together they fixed up the coop, set up posts, and built shelters to give the chickens, ducks, and quails a safer place to stay. Diep tended carefully to each little chicken, her eyes shining with determination and love, while James helped clean the coops, occasionally glancing at Diep with evident admiration. During a break, James mentioned plans to expand the farm. "If we build a few more coops and raise some different breeds, maybe our business will do even better." Diep nodded and smiled softly. "I think so too. If we work hard, everything will be all right." That afternoon, as sunlight streamed through the trees, James and Diep continued diligently caring for the poultry. Their laughter rang out beneath the blue sky, mingling with the cheerful chirps of the chicks and filling the space with warmth and peace. That morning, James and Diep went to the hospital to visit her mother. Sunlight streamed softly through the window, gently illuminating the small room and adding a warm glow to the space. Diep stepped slowly into the room, her eyes brimming with tears as she looked at her mother lying quietly in bed. Beside her, James stood silently, placing a comforting hand on her shoulder and gently encouraging, "Be strong, you'll be okay." When her mother woke up and saw Diep, her cloudy eyes lit up with a hint of hope. "Mum, it's me," Diep said, her voice thick with emotion. Her mother offered a weak smile and tried to grasp her hand. "You're all right, aren't you?" she whispered. Diep quickly nodded, tears welling up. "No matter what happens, you'll always be my mum. I will take care of you, and I will never leave you no matter how hard it gets." Tuan stood nearby, his eyes heavy with regret. After her mother drifted back to sleep, Tuan led Diep outside. They went together to a cafe near the hospital to talk. Tuan stared at the iced tea in front of him, his voice hesitant. "I'm sorry for keeping the truth from you. I was just afraid that if Mum knew, she wouldn't be able to handle it." Diep fell silent, staring into the distance. "You know, since I was little, I've always longed for a mother. When I finally found you, I thought I had a family at last. But then, the truth hit me like a painful blow." Tuan sighed, his eyes red. "I never wanted to hurt you, but the more I kept it hidden, the guilt grew heavier." Diep turned to face him, her eyes still glistening. "I once thought I wasn't strong enough to face this truth. But then I realized that even without a blood tie, you are still the one who raised me and loved me. And you are still the brother I cherish." Tuan nodded in relief. "Thank you for not being angry with me. I promise to work hard and take care of both Mum and you." James, sitting nearby, listened quietly to their conversation. When he saw Diep lower her head, he gently placed his hand on hers and whispered, "You're so strong, Diep. Family isn't just about blood. It's about the bond and the love we share." Diep managed a small smile, as if she had found a little peace amid her pain. On the drive home, with James at the wheel and Diep sitting beside him, lost in thought, he gently squeezed her hand. "I'm always here with you to help you get through every hardship." Diep turned to look at him, her eyes lighting up with a glimmer of hope. "Thank you, James. With you by my side, I have the courage to face it all." That afternoon, after leaving the hospital, James decided to take Diep for a walk to clear her mind. He knew her mood was still heavy after seeing her mum, so he came up with the idea of taking her to a soccer festival taking place in the town centre. The festive atmosphere was alive with cheers and flags fluttering everywhere. Diep looked around, her eyes filled with curiosity. "It's so crowded, James. I've never seen so many people here." James smiled gently and replied, "I thought you might like it. Today, let's forget about the sadness for a while." They joined the throng of people wandering among the food and beverage stalls. James bought Diep a cup of hot bubble tea, and the two of them found a roadside cafe to take a break. Sitting on a small plastic chair, James watched Diep as she smiled softly while watching children playing with a ball. "Seeing you smile makes me feel so much better," James murmured. Just as the peaceful moment settled in, James's phone rang. He hurriedly drove to the arranged meeting spot. When he arrived, he met Duke, a major wood supplier from Thuyen Son province, standing outside a coffee shop. After a few pleasantries, the two went inside. Duke sat down, his eyes coldly fixed on James, giving off an unfriendly vibe. James kept his composure and introduced himself. "Our company has over 25 years of experience in the wood industry, with a state-of-the-art machinery system imported from Korea and Japan. We always ensure timely delivery and top quality. I'd like to propose a long-term wood supply partnership with you." Duke replied in a low, measured tone, "That sounds okay, but I need at least 200-300 tons of wood every day. Can you meet that demand?" James responded frankly, "At the moment we need about 2 months to expand our workshop and ensure a stable supply." Duke smirked slightly and said, 2 months, 3 months? I don't have that much time to wait. Besides, I already have another partner." James remained calm and continued, "Mr. Duke, we have an advantage in quality and technology, and waiting a little longer will guarantee a more reliable partnership in the long run." On his way back to the festival, James couldn't stop thinking about what Duke had said. He knew he was facing a scheme far more complicated than he had imagined. Setting aside his unease for the moment, he resolved to remain calm and tackle each challenge with certainty. The next morning, as soft sunlight streamed through the window, Dee was sweeping the yard when she noticed a young teacher with a gentle smile. This was Miss Han, the teacher whom James had invited to teach her. The first lesson took place right in the small house. Miss Han began by assessing Diep's reading and writing skills. She noticed that Diep often confused the letters R and D. In fact, even writing her own name proved challenging. "Diep, please write your name on the paper," she said. Diep picked up a pen, fumbled for a moment, and then wrote Diep, though her handwriting trembled. Miss Han smiled softly and gently instructed, "You need to hold the pen more firmly and write more slowly. Don't rush." After practicing writing for a while, Miss Han moved on to developing her thinking skills. "Did you know that getting rich isn't just about hard work, but also about having knowledge and business skills?" Diep looked puzzled and shook her head. Miss Han explained, "Working for someone else is just the first step. If you learn how to manage and develop things, you can become independent and even more successful." Next, she taught Diep how to communicate with more confidence. When you speak, stand up straight, smile gently, and make eye contact with the person you're talking to. This will help them feel your confidence. Diep stood up and tried to follow the advice, though she still felt a bit awkward. James, standing in the corner of the room, quietly observed with an encouraging look in his eyes. When the lesson ended, Miss Han happily remarked, "Diep, you picked that up very quickly, though you need to work a bit more on your thinking and communication skills. With persistence, you will make progress." James stepped forward with a smile and said, "I knew it. Diep is very smart. She just hasn't had the chance to learn until now." Diep lowered her head and said in a soft voice, "I'll do my best to learn. I don't want to be a burden to you." Gently, James lifted her chin, his eyes warm and kind. Don't say that. I want you to be confident and strong, not for me, but for yourself. Where you come from doesn't determine your future. It's your effort that matters. With tears glistening in her eyes, Diep whispered, "You always encourage me like that. I'm just afraid I'm not worthy." James gently wiped away a tear from her cheek and said firmly, "You deserve happiness. As long as you never give up, we will get through every hardship together." That morning, the small house was filled with sunlight and determination. Diep felt her heart lighten, as if she had rediscovered her own self-belief. She resolved to work hard every day, not just for James, but for her own future. That morning, soft sunlight bathed the road leading to the town's market. Ly stood in front of the house, preparing baskets of freshly picked Hongxie mangoes, carefully wrapped in green banana leaves. James stepped out from inside the house and smiled at her. "Today, I'll come with you to the market," he said. Ly looked a little surprised. "Aren't you busy with work?" James shook his head gently. "The company's okay for now. Today I want to join you in selling. It's a new experience." Together they walked to the market. When they arrived, all the seating was crowded, but luckily they found a small corner near the entrance. Ly set out the goods, arranging each basket meticulously. "So, what price should we set, Ly?" James asked. After a moment of thought, Diep replied, 20,000 VND per kilogram, because these Hongxie mangoes are so sweet and delicious. While they were selling, a street singer wandered by, a scruffy man carrying an old guitar slung over his shoulder. He stopped to admire the baskets of mangoes, his eyes gleaming with desire. Diep smiled, took out a few mangoes and offered them to him. "Here, have some. Consider it a gift." The street singer looked surprised but didn't refuse, quickly thanking her. "Thank you, miss. These mangoes smell amazing. If we meet again, I'll write a song just for you." Diep just smiled softly. "No need, just enjoy." James stood beside her, beaming with pride as he watched her. Just as things were going well, James's phone rang. He answered, his voice tense. "What's up? John wants to meet me right away at Kindman Cafe." Glancing at Diep, James said quietly, "I have to meet with a partner urgently. Stay here and sell on your own, okay?" Diep nodded, adding, "Be careful." James sped off to the cafe, but as soon as he arrived, he received a text from John. "Sorry, I'm busy. Let's meet another time." Frowning, James felt a surge of suspicion. John has never cancelled like this out of the blue. Is something wrong? He slumped into a chair, worry weighing on him. "What's going on? Is John setting a trap for me?" James sighed, staring out the window, his heart full of unease. He knew a major challenge might lie ahead, but he couldn't let the company fall into crisis. Meanwhile, at the market, Diep continued to sell the mangoes, silently fretting over James. She didn't know what had happened, but she couldn't shake a bad feeling. As the baskets of Hongxie slowly diminished, the memory of James's tense look before he left lingered in her mind.
Dạo này bạn có khỏe không? Hương hỏi tiếp. Ánh mắt ánh lên sự quan tâm chân thành, ngồi xuống bên Hương, đôi tay đan vào nhau như tìm kiếm sự an ủi. "Tôi vẫn ổn." Cô đáp nhưng giọng nói không giấu đi được chút run rẩy. Hương nhìn cô, lòng chợt thắt lại khi muốn nhận ra nỗi buồn ẩn sâu trong đôi mắt bạn mình. Câu ấy vẫn mang vẻ cô đơn như ngày xưa. Mình như muốn truyền chút sức mạnh cho Diệp. "Chồng bạn đâu rồi? Sao lại làm một mình?" Diệp hỏi. Cố chuyển hướng câu chuyện nhưng Hương tự dài ánh mắt buồn. "Chồng tôi vừa qua đời được 3 tháng. Diệp sững sờ, lòng trào lên sự đồng cảm sâu sắc. "Tôi xin lỗi." Cô thì thầm, như nỗi đau của Hương đang hòa vào nỗi đau của chính mình. Hương mỉm cười buồn, xua tay, "Không sao đâu, còn bạn thì sao?" Diệp cúi đầu, giọng nhỏ dần, "Tôi đã ly hôn rồi, giờ tôi ở tạm trang trại của một người bạn." Hương gật đầu, ánh mắt sáng lên. "Nhưng nghe đến từ bạn, nghe nói người đó là chủ tịch rất giàu đúng không?" Cô hỏi, giọng tò mò. Diệp gật đầu.